Good Tuesday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. On behalf of Weigel's Fuel and Food that's fast, fresh, and friendly, here's a quick East Tennessee and weather update. But first, Weigel's, because they are my sponsor, I want to share with you a great product they've introduced now for several weeks, the all-new brownie batter milk. It is delicious if you're a fan of chocolate milk, and who isn't? This is like not double chocolate, this is like triple chocolatey in my view, but it is around for a limited time. You might want to pick up a bottle today, maybe pick up 2 bottles, because there could be a new flavor around the corner. You never know. They have to keep room for on the shelf for other products. It's just better when it's fresh, farm to store in 24. That's the beauty of Weigel's. It's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. And if you are filling up your tank, maybe you're grabbing some hot coffee, make sure you pick up a bottle of the all-new brownie batter milk. Very happy to have them as a sponsor. One of the big issues this morning is the fog. I can tell you that we have some dense fog in surrounding counties. May not be at McGee-Tyson. In fact, it would be just the opposite. It looks like a 10. 10's the maximum. 10 miles around Knoxville, McGee-Tyson, so fog is probably not an issue around the airport, but it could be patchy. It could be seen in some suburbs. Certainly where you see white, that would be back toward maybe Fentress County, Cumberland County. You may have some real trouble spots, so make sure you're extra careful. Low beams are a good idea. Wartburg's down to about a mile. It's less than a mile in Oneida in Scott County. So I'm sure there's going to be some reports. And if you have a report, I would love to share that with you. As far as the rain situation, we're expecting a 30% chance. That's about it. 30% chance of some passing showers today, and they'll be developing later on. Most of the rain you can see is up toward Virginia and spinning up across Pennsylvania and West Virginia. So that's where we are right now. Temperatures still warm, 66 in Knoxville. I'd love to know what temperature you have. It's 64 currently in Oak Ridge, Wartburg, 60 in Crossville, one of the cooler numbers I see here, and 65 in Newport. I'll have some messages, some notes from you. I got a note from Wanda Poe. She says, by the way, she says it's raining here in Newport. And there are probably a few showers that are maybe not being detected. There have been some issues with the MRX Morristown radar in the last couple of days from our the name storm, Helene, which we'll talk more about in detail, kind of like a Monday morning, but this will be a Tuesday morning quarterbacking of that storm. Danny says, good morning, David. Sure hope you have a great day. He's a big fan. Go Vols. I didn't even have time to get into the Arkansas game forecast, but I'll have that later tonight, this afternoon, and certainly some fall color perhaps tomorrow. But I do Marilyn Bell on what she says here. She says, I'm praying our members in Del Rio and Wanda Poe are okay. So why don't you let Marilyn know in the comments section that you're okay through this storm system. It's been a very tough one. We're going to talk about why some people got hit harder than others. And last but not least, I want to show you at this point, Steve Stone's on YouTube. He's got the sunshine happy face, and he has a good morning for all. So happy to have Steve here. Again, if you're just joining us, it's 63 in Madisonville, Athens, and 66 in Knoxville, in Marble City, Scruffy City at this particular time. Dew point temperatures are in the mid-60s, and that's going to stay pretty consistent all week. And I say all week, probably in that 60 to 65. It's probably where it's going to be most of today, most of tomorrow, and so on. So it's not going to get any more humid or any less humid. We're kind of in that same pattern. Feels like it's like there's like showers every day. What's going on? This is the remnants of Helene. She had nowhere to go. She's kind of like moved up into the flow and really got cut off. Didn't know where to do but spin. That's all it does. And so what's remnant of this storm, even in some degrees, you could connect the dots. We're still dealing with the showers. No wind to talk about, so we have an atmosphere, an environment that is favorable for more fog development here in the next couple of hours. Today, look at this. Ooh, 78. Now, if we hit 80 today, I wouldn't be surprised. But we have a wet ground, so I've retained 78 for my expectation. But if we hit 80 today, in Knoxville, wouldn't surprise me. I have 80 for Tellico Plains. I got 79 for Kingston. So depending on where you are, hang in there. Clouds, fog, a good part of the morning. Hazy sunshine will break out, maybe more so today than yesterday in some cases. And then we'll finish off the day generally in mid to upper 70s for most. But some might flirt with 80 here in the valley or even the southern valley. Look at how the moisture deficit has just evaporated, right? We had all sorts of colors. We had purple, we had blue, light blue, we had yellow, we had orange all over the map a week ago. But we've had now, there's some patches of color. Yeah, back toward Huntsville. They still could use a drink of water over the last 30 days, but not us. We've had more rain than we could shake a stick at. Temperatures right now for the month, now in review, because today is October 1st. I almost forget. Let me come back on camera because I got some notes here. Ready for this? High yesterday was 73 Knoxville. 75 Oak Ridge, was expecting 77. So we're kind of underperforming with this wet ground. Keep in mind, we picked up a tenth of an inch of rain. Oops, come back on camera. Tenth of an inch of rain. There I am. Tenth of an inch of rain fell yesterday. That brings us to a monthly total of 6.33. That's the 14th wettest September on record. Clearly, there was more rain in some parts. We'll look at that too. In a moment, the record high today is 95 from 2019. And believe it or not, we hit 36 degrees on the 1st of October in 1924, 1895, and in 1876. Yes, they do keep good records. The National Hurricane Center, my mind's on hurricanes. The National Weather Service has kept good records over the years, and that's what's really nice to have, that historical weather record, because you can go back and make some comparisons. But do you look at this month, might tell you, we have, 6 days in the 70s, but we came off a weekend prior in the heat wave. We had 4 days in the 90s starting on the 20th of September that ended on the 23rd. So it's been amazing. By the way, now that we've hit October, some of you are already wondering, what's this winter going to be like? I'm going to talk a little bit about that at the end of this live stream, so you might want to stay with me as we progress through. But here's where we have some issues. The gray areas would be fog, yeah, dense fog advisories. We already see that it's really bad in Oneida, back toward maybe Fentress and Cumberland counties, or at least sections of it. But they have issued fog advisories that are dense in Williamson County, Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, till earlier or later this morning. Clearly, there's some fire danger out in the northern plains. They've got low relative humidity and gusty winds where fires could spread easily. Clearly, we're watching also what's going on in the Gulf of Mexico this morning. So that's the national scene. As I check your comments, I got a note from Janet Potts with a weather report. Always love that. She says 64 degrees in Talbot. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for being on here. Ed says good morning. Hope you have, and everyone is staying safe. We're still in a drought. Yeah, that's a little misleading, Ed. The drought monitor comes out on Thursdays. That's a good point. The drought monitor comes out on Thursdays, and it still shows, but it takes in the data from 8:30 on a Tuesday. So it doesn't remember or have any knowledge of the rain that we've had since Tuesday morning at 8:30. When they turn off the data spigot, as it were, at 8:30, 8:31 last Tuesday to the present, it has no knowledge. So these NOAA drought monitors, while we still technically were under one last week, when you get the new one report on Thursday, I think you're going to see a lot of it's gone. A lot of it will be disappeared. There might still be some mention of drought areas or dry areas, but it's certainly not as bad as it was. I don't think anybody would argue there. Take a look at the amount. We've had 6.33. Now, the normal rainfall amount for October is 3.5, and we've now entered the driest month of the year. Well, that's a bold statement. Now, that's just based on history. We typically see less than 3 inches in the month of October, and that's a 30-year average based on the years 1991 to 2020. So keep in mind, that's where things are. Now, last Tuesday, I showed you this map when we were still in a severe drought, as Ed points out. Some people thought this was irresponsible. Some people thought it was, that man's out of touch. He's showing me flooding safety, and we're under a drought. Does he not know that we're dry? Is he just rubbing this in? No, I wasn't. I could see what was coming, and I could see that this was far from top of mind. This was bottom of mind, right? Turn around, don't drown. And then you look at the pictures that came out from the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Now, this was in Unicoi County. We're going to talk about why it was there. Midday Saturday, this was their picture. And in their own words, I'm quoting here, in their own words in white, that white arrow, they wrote, you see that arrow? That's their word. See that white arrow? Those are National Guard high-rise trucks, making sure there are no more stranded motorists. Must have been some stranded motorists that they had to go rescue. They had to go put their lives in danger to help save folks who might have thought, I can make it, I know this road, I know it looks, well, it probably didn't look like that. I don't remember it looking like that. How tragic this is, but it is a gentle reminder that you can put your life in danger when you drive through covered roads. When rushing water is covering the roads, it's best not to proceed. It really isn't. I mean, isn't any wonder we've had hundreds of people, or at least over 120 or more, 150, but hundreds of people missing. There are still people being counted. So the things I'm going to recap here may be very painful. There are some people within the sound of my voice that are still without power. And that may be hard for some of us in West Knox County or maybe in Anderson County to think about because life has moved on for us. But it has not moved on for others in North Carolina and certainly Georgia and other parts of the country. Now, here's the post-tropical cyclone Helene. I told you on Thursday night, I said it's all about track, baby. It's all about the track. How many times have you seen, if you've been on a merry-go-round, let's take look, a good example. For those of you who have kids, you've probably been to Dollywood, you've probably been on the carousel. Is it windier as the mom or dad with the kids on the carousel at Dollywood to stand in the middle of the carousel or to hang out on the edge and go, wee? It's the outer edge, right? We call that the dirty side of the storm. But when this low rolled over Maryville and Knoxville, and we were technically in the cone, even though they kept dancing us in and out. So, oh, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. You asked the folks around Nolichucky River if they were fine. You asked the folks in Unicoi County if they were fine. They were on the dirty side of the storm. And when you get clouds, you've got to have rising motion, rising air. What happens when a tropical storm hits the mountains around Asheville? The air rises. So you squeeze out more rain, crazy rain, and you bring in heavy rains. And they're closing roads, I'm understanding, for another year. I saw a post today about September 2025. Some roads won't be opening for 12 months. So you think about this storm. It's all about track. Some of us are, well, it wasn't that bad. What, if that storm had jogged to Crossville, we could have had that Nolichucky and Unicoi picture in Maryville. It could have been in Sevierville, more so than it was. So I just point out to you, you got to take these storms seriously. I had a grandmother named Helene. She was a sweet person. So the tendency, well, she's a sweet person, I guess I won't board up. This was only a tropical storm for us, right? That's all it was. It was a decaying tropical storm, but even still, notice where the lows are. They've been parked over Middle Tennessee, which is why we've had persistent rain. So I'm just the messenger here. Sometimes the naming of these storms, maybe people are more inclined to have been to several weather conferences, where some people will say, well, I'll board up for a Gustav or a Hugo, but, Faye, Helene, seems like a sweet lady. We get these concepts that if the name isn't certain such, the social scientists that I've met at weather conferences, they're troubled by the fact that some people react differently. I don't know. Because her name was Helene, did people? I don't know. But I do know that we are missing hundreds of people after this storm, and it's been almost a week. It'll be a week later on. But I'll tell you what, that storm track was all important. We were in the center of this rainy low round where the dirty side of the storm was in red. By the way, look at the heavy rains, over 15, probably 20 inches or more in white, back toward Asheville, back toward western North Carolina. You zoom in closer to where we were. Some of us had over 5, 6, 7, 8 inches. It's amazing. In Knoxville, Mickey Tyson, it was closer, as I said, to 6 1/4, 6 1/3 was our finishing total for the month. But certainly a lot of rain fell. I don't want to belabor it, but I do want you to be prepared for the next time it goes around. Tropical Storm Kirk, there's another storm out in the middle of the Atlantic. I point this out not because he's headed here, but because we could get Leslie in the Gulf of Mexico, or perhaps the storm after that. What's new is that there's now a 90% chance that something in the Atlantic gets Leslie. So we'd have to go to the next name. Well, what's after the next name? I believe it's Milton, as in Milton Berle. Remember the comedian? That's not so funny. Say we're already making maybe some comparisons, right? 90% chance the storm in red in the Atlantic becomes Leslie, and the one in the Gulf of Mexico could become Leslie. And Leslie's going to be something, or maybe the other way, Leslie. This could be Milton, because the naming of the storms, or we can cross off Kirk, but Leslie and Milton are the next two names. So whether it's Leslie, a female, or Milton, a male, you got to take every storm seriously. That's my point. Prayers will continue to go out from East Tennessee and all around the country for those who are suffering, and we want people to get back on their feet. But we have to recognize when these storms are in the forecast that everybody takes it seriously. Future rainfall shows the amount we see this week will trail off as we head toward Friday. It's just hit or miss. It's nothing heavy. It's less than a tenth. In many cases, it's maybe less than a third. I'm looking at Jamestown, Morristown, maybe a quarter for the rest of the week. Another way to look at what's going on in the Gulf once we get past the locals, just to show you that it's very hit or miss, right? These are just passing showers, so if you liked it yesterday, you'll love it today. If you liked it 2 days ago, you'll love it today. Tomorrow, because I've got a 30% chance of rain today, 20% chance on Wednesday, and a 20% chance in the Smokies on Thursday. It's just one of those. And Friday, I have a 30% chance for a thunderstorm. So it's not going to be raining in time for fall break. That's the good news. But you have to notice, you have to see from just the future rainfall in the Gulf that there's something going to be brewing, whether it's Leslie or Milton now, because I don't know who they'll name first. Obviously, a 90% chance is probably going to be Leslie in the Atlantic. So this could become a heavy rainmaker soon to be known as possibly Milton, and it could very well affect much of the Gulf and the state of Florida. Tracking the clouds, we have some fog, we have clouds, and the sunrise. Sunset time is now on your screen. We may be tearful because more rain's in the forecast, but the sun is up at 7:31 and it goes down at 7:19. If you're on the call, just want to say good morning to you. Got a couple other notes here. Got a note from Tammy Bullock. She says, amen. Good morning, brother. She says, David, glad to have Tammy here. Wanda Poe also noting, she says, there will be no school all week. She's in the Newport area. And sure is muddy around Newport. Thank you for all the help from everyone. She's very appreciative of prayers as well. And Lana Johnson says, good morning from Kodak. Very foggy and damp where she is. I got a note from Fred. He's got an update weather report. Always appreciative. He says, good morning. It's 68 in Maryville. Getting coffee at Weigel's. Thank you, Weigel's. Praying for Tennessee and North Carolina. And we could add Georgia in there too. And Florida. Keep in mind, it's unheard of. He said, well, this was just a tropical storm. True. But as I come back on camera, just to point out, when that storm hit the mountains, it's like your car. When you hit a speed bump, you go up. It's like squeezing out the car wash sponge right over Asheville, right? So they felt the winds, they felt the worst of the storm, and it was not as bad in Knoxville because we were in the center. Remember, the center is where the calmness is for a little while. The calm of the storm is in the center. But that eye wall, the one that's on the northeast side, is the dirty side of the storm, and they felt the ferocious winds and the rain. And the combination took out some interstates, like I-26 around Irwin. Very scary, no doubt. Okay, that's the recap. It is 6:57. I got to keep moving. I got some stuff to cover. Obviously, the fog this morning want all drivers to be careful around school zones, school buses. They've got to get to where they need to be, and with some fog in some surrounding counties, we should be climbing up to about 76 for the pickup this afternoon. 66 is our current temperature. It's 67 in Nashville, 65 in Johnson City, and you can see the dew points are lower in yellow, like in Asheville, 59, but very dry in the state of Iowa and northern Missouri. You can see the coloring change, but they're under a northerly wind, so they're seeing less in the way of humidity. Headlines, few showers today, spotty rain on Wednesday, but hey, fall break. Did you say fall break? I did. Yay, fall break. Everybody loves fall break. Dry weekend ahead. But you might want to think about maybe not going to well, we'll see more about that. I showed you. There's some more unsettled weather heading in the direction of the Gulf of Mexico. Right now it's 66 degrees. We have a southwest wind at 3 miles per hour. This may be representative of the 7 o'clock temperature, but we should be heading toward near 80, 78 at a minimum. But at 80 degrees in the shade, given the wet ground, I kept a 30% chance of a few showers redeveloping, clouds, fog, and as we heard from Wanda, she still has some rain. Some of the fog can produce drizzle as well. Notice how dry it gets by the weekend, something to look forward to. And on Monday, I think we'll be hard-pressed to find much in the way of clouds. So it's mostly sunny Saturday, mostly sunny Sunday, and just sunshiny and beautiful on Monday, the first, I guess, full day of fall break. But the Storm Prediction Center is not covering much in the way of color other than general thunderstorms. So where you see the light green, in pockets around the Great Lakes and around maybe eastern North Carolina, they could get some thunder. We could get some showers, but we're not expecting thunder to be an issue today. Not expecting it to be an issue here tomorrow. Maybe a couple of thunderstorms possible between Miami and Tampa, but outside of Wednesday, I think we've got maybe a 20% chance of clouds, hazy sun, maybe a spot of rain tomorrow. And then on Thursday, I left it in for the Smokies, but there will be some thunder potentially in the Gulf as the system down there continues to take shape. It takes form over the next couple of days. Severe risk is obviously non-existent. So we've got a cold front that's sliding in from the west. This is maybe just some maybe insult upon injury that we're still dealing with pockets of rain showers. But this front will finally get its way to the east of us perhaps tomorrow morning, but it will trigger a few more showers like so. It's really not until we head into the latter part of the week, particularly on Saturday, where we'll see some improvement. But you can see this green just doesn't want to disappear anytime soon, so we'll have to deal with each day as it comes. There's another front coming in on Friday that could produce a 30% chance for showers and storms. So 78 today. It is now 7 o'clock, straight up, trying to finish on time. Clouds, fog, hazy sun, and some showers. 30% chance. Winds are light and variable all day. 78 to near 80 for a high temperature today in Knoxville. 80 in Tellico Plains. 76 for our friends in Oneida. Today, if you're traveling, about 80 for Atlanta. 82 for Nashville. And if you have to be traveling on the roads to North Carolina, please make sure you know what you're doing, because, again, they're encouraging people to take it easy. If you not necessarily have to be there, there's so much cleanup. But they will be likely in the low 80s around Charlotte. Today and tonight, we're going to 63 tonight, partly to mostly cloudy, drizzle, patches of fog, light and variable winds. We head into tonight, we're down to about 62 Morristown, White Pine, Russellville, and Talbot, Jefferson City, about 63, about 62 for Newport and Dandridge for tonight. Looking ahead to the Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville, East Tennessee. So we're near 80 today, we're near 80, 81 tomorrow, then it gets a little bit warmer. Certainly by Saturday and Sunday, I think we're in the low 80s, low to mid, but then it gets cooler on Monday as fall break takes shape. A lot of folks might be doing staycations. Maybe they're going to Dollywood. Maybe they're going on trips to the beach. But again, be extra careful, be mindful, and sensitive to those who might still be without power. I've been posting those pictures now for days. People are having some hard times in western North Carolina for sure. By the way, if you haven't picked up the all-new brownie batter milk from Weigel's, it is delicious. It is chocolatey, and oh, it's so good. Do you remember those days where you put your finger in the bowl of the brownie batter milk that Mom was making? Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's even better than that. It's just better when it's fresh, farm to store at 24. It's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. Nobody here would argue with that, I don't think. All new brownie batter milk from Weigel's. Check it out. They have a great product. And certainly if you haven't had a chance to pick up maybe some hot coffee today, maybe you'll stop by Weigel's this morning. They would love to see you. Well, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.